You ever hear about a criminal so stupid that you almost feel bad laughing? Like you just sit there thinking, there's no way this person really thought that was going to work. In 2012, a man named Michael Harrell walked into a bank in Cleveland, Ohio, and handed the teller a note demanding cash. Nothing unusual about that, except the note was written on the back of a piece of paper with his name and address printed on it. Yeah, it was his pay stub from his job. According to the Cleveland Police Department, he literally handed the bank teller all his identifying information before even leaving the scene. The teller gave him the money, sure, but she also immediately handed that note to the cops. They found him within hours. This is the kind of guy who probably failed How to Crime 101, the man who tried to rob a gun store. This might honestly be one of the fastest arrests in history. So, this guy in Oregon walks into a local gun shop, middle of the afternoon, broad daylight, and decides this is the perfect place to pull a robbery. He pulls out his gun, points it at the clerk, and starts demanding cash. But there's just one tiny flaw in his plan. It's a gun store. Like, everyone in the building, employees, customers, even the owner, is carrying a gun. According to Oregon Live, before the guy could even finish his sentence, one of the clerks had already drawn his own weapon. Another worker hit the alarm, and within seconds, the would-be robber realized he was completely surrounded. He panicked, dropped his gun, and actually started apologizing, begging them to call the police for him. He ended up sitting on the floor, hands up, waiting for officers to show up and take him away. Nobody was hurt, thankfully. But the whole thing is such a perfect example of zero planning and zero awareness. Like, of all the places to rob, you pick the one where everyone is trained and armed. You really can't make this stuff up. The car thief who couldn't drive stick. So this genius in Maryland decides he's going to steal a car in 2015. He walks up to a guy sitting at a stoplight, flashes a weapon, and yells at him to get out. The terrified driver jumps out, hands still in the air, and our wannabe getaway driver hops in like he's in some action movie. Except, it's not exactly Fast and Furious. The car's a manual transmission. He turns the key, hits the clutch, and immediately stalls it. Tries again. Stalls it again. You can almost hear the grinding gears crying for mercy. By the third attempt, traffic's honking, people are staring, and he's realizing that the only thing he's stealing is everyone's patience. Panicking, he gives up, jumps out of the car, and takes off running down the street. On foot. The driver, now standing on the sidewalk, is literally watching the guy sprint away from the scene of his own failure. According to the Baltimore Sun, police caught him a few blocks away, panting, and trying to come up with an excuse. Like, seriously, how do you even plan a carjacking without knowing how to drive stick? Did he just assume all crime comes with an automatic transmission? It's like flunking driving school and then thinking, yeah, I'm ready for Grand Theft Auto. The guy who robbed the same store twice. So, in 2022, this guy in Chicago decides to rob a small convenience store. He pulls it off, grabs some cash, a few packs of cigarettes, and takes off. Not exactly a master criminal, but hey, he got away with it for one night. Because the very next evening, same store, same time, same everything, he strolls back in to do it all over again, like the clerk wouldn't notice. And surprise, surprise, the same clerk was behind the counter. According to NBC Chicago, the moment the guy walked in, the clerk recognized him instantly, hit the silent alarm, and locked the doors remotely. So this dude suddenly realizes he's not robbing the place anymore. He's trapped in it. By the time police showed up, he was just pacing in circles, probably wondering how his big sequel turned into a rerun. Honestly, it's like he thought real life worked like GTA 5. You rob a place, go to sleep, and your wanted level magically disappears overnight. Sorry man, that's not how it works. In the real world, 5 stars means you're still going to jail. The burglar who fell asleep mid-robbery. So, back in 2014, in, of course, Florida. Because where else would this happen? Police responded to one of the strangest burglary calls they'd ever gotten. A couple came home late at night, walked into their living room, and there's a random guy asleep on their couch. Lights are on, drawers are open, valuables scattered everywhere. And this dude's just snoring away like he pays rent there. According to the Orlando Sentinel, the guy had broken into the house earlier that evening, started packing up some electronics and jewelry into a bag, and apparently just got tired. Like halfway through robbing the place, he decided it was nap time. When the homeowners found him, they didn't even have to call out for him to freeze. He was already frozen in deep REM sleep. They called the cops, who showed up and actually had to wake him up to arrest him. When they asked why he'd fallen asleep, the man reportedly said he was too tired to keep stealing. Too tired to keep stealing. Imagine that going on the police report. He was charged with burglary, trespassing, and, let's be honest, being criminally lazy. Like, dude, breaking and entering is not the time to hit the snooze button. It's almost poetic, though. He broke in, stole a TV, and then stole a nap. Guess he really wanted to take something home, even if it was just some shut-eye. The man who tried to cash a check from the Bank of God. This one's an all-timer. So, back in 2010, a man walks into a bank in Fort Worth, Texas, holding what looks like a check, except it's clearly homemade. We're talking computer paper, uneven handwriting, and the words Bank of God, proudly written across the top like it's some kind of divine credit union. He strolls up to the counter, completely calm, and tries to cash it for, wait for it, $360 billion, not million, billion. With a B, that's more money than Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos combined. And this guy's just casually sliding the paper across the counter like it's payday. The teller, bless their professionalism, tries to stay composed but obviously refuses. Instead, they quietly call the police. When officers show up and ask him what made him think any of this would actually work, he says, with a straight face, "Because I'm one of God's children." Now that's what you call faith-based financing. I mean, talk about divine overdraft protection. Maybe he thought heaven was FDIC insured. According to ABC News, he was taken into custody and charged with forgery, though honestly, he might have just needed a reality check. Pun completely intended. Because if the Bank of God was real, I'm guessing the withdrawal limits would be a little stricter than that. The robber who farted himself out of hiding. You really can't make this one up. It sounds like something straight out of a cartoon, but it's 100% confirmed by the Clay County Sheriff's Office in Missouri. So, officers were out searching for a guy who had a felony warrant. They'd been tracking him for a while, and at one point he managed to slip away, ducking into a wooded area to hide. Things were actually going pretty well for him. Quiet, dark, no one around, until nature decided to betray him in the most human way possible. While crouched down in the bushes, trying to stay completely still, he let out a massive, echoing fart, like loud enough that the officers literally heard it and followed the sound straight to him. One of the deputies reportedly said it was like nature itself had given them a GPS tracker. They just started walking toward the source, and sure enough, there he was, probably mortified and still trying to pretend it wasn't him. The department even had fun with it on Facebook later. They posted something along the lines of, "If you're wanted and trying to hide from the cops, don't give yourself away with a loud burst of flatulence." That's real. They actually wrote that. And honestly, this man had no chance. You can outrun a K9 unit, maybe dodge a drone, but you can't outrun your own digestive system. Imagine sitting in jail trying to explain that story. "Yeah, man, the cops caught me because I couldn't hold in a fart." The thief who tried to rob a karate school. Another day, another Florida headline that makes you wonder if the sun down there just fries common sense. So, a man bursts into a martial arts studio, waving a knife, and demands everyone's wallets. You can practically hear the record scratch the moment he realizes where he is. A karate school. Now, of all the places in the world to try an armed robbery, this dude picked the one filled with people who literally trained to fight back for fun. According to WFTV Orlando, the instructor that night wasn't just some newbie, he was a 5th-degree black belt. Before the thief could even blink, the instructor disarmed him, flipped him over, and had him pinned to the ground faster than you can say, "Bad idea." By the time the cops showed up, the thief was still on the mat, face down, sore, and probably rethinking every decision he'd made that day. Let's just say, he left the dojo with a lot fewer teeth than he started with. Honestly, this guy walked into a karate school with a knife. That's like challenging Gordon Ramsay to a cooking competition with a microwave burrito, or walking into a Shark Tank wearing a steak suit and thinking, "Yeah, I got this." If Florida had a slogan, it would probably just be, "Where criminals do their own stunts."